A quick plot summary for anyone who's watching this without having seen Jailer. It's about a retired jailer who goes on a manhunt to find his son's killers, but the road leads him to a familiar but dark place. Can he emerge from this complex situation successfully? That's the plot summary.
I think you came up with that on the spot, bro.
No. And yeah, it stars the amazing, famous Rajinikanth in the lead role alongside Vinny Yakin, which is the villain of the movie.
What did you think of the movie walking into it? Like, how much did you know of this movie?
I knew because I watched the trailer. We both know the star, the superstar of this movie, Rajini, right?
That's right.
Rajinikanth. So that's all I knew going in. This is going to have a superstar in it. It's going to be an action comedy. And the trailer just showed a badass older guy taking down what looks to be a gang.
And that's all we needed to know to want to watch the film, right?
Well, I just said, hey man, you want to watch a movie called Jailer? It's on Amazon Prime.
It just came out.
And let's watch it. Yeah, and boy, were we in for a surprise, a treat. I think the best way to watch any movie is just to go in with almost no expectations, and like you're almost guaranteed a good time.
Now, how did you feel after watching it?
I felt sad. I felt sad.
It was a pretty devastating blow at the end there, wasn't it?
It was a fun movie. It was very entertaining throughout. But I left feeling just like, oh man, after all of that.
A little bit defeated, man. I felt a bit defeated, I gotta say.
It's like after all we went through, this is how it's gonna end. That's what it felt like.
And as a disclaimer, we will be reviewing Jailer, and there will be plenty of spoilers about the plot. So if you haven't watched yet, maybe save this video for after you've watched it. And if you have, continue on.
You've got your spoiler warning, okay?
Our star, Rajinikanth, right? How old is he again?
He's 72.
I was blown away when you told me that.
Our man is 72 years old.
He has aged magnificently.
He is very much in the summer of his life. he's still got a spring in his step. He is acting. He carries this film. We'll go into this in a lot more detail, but he just like shines.
He has really carried
in this movie. So Nelson is the director of this film, and it almost felt like a huge fan was making the movie. The way he just puts Rajinikanth on stage, those slow, dramatic entrances, like he's got so much flair. That's what I felt. I'm like, this guy loves Rajinikanth.
Well, every time he showed up, it was like, at the forefront of the scene.
Yes, center stage, slow-mo, his theme, blasting, amazing theme, by the way. I always love the trumpets when they come in. And plus, there were a lot of cameos, which unfortunately we weren't very familiar with some of them, but you could tell there were cameos.
Which is a shame because we didn't go to watch this in the cinemas, but I'm sure the crowd would have erupted in some kind of applause for the cameos, and then we'd be thinking, oh yes,
exactly. But one cameo that we should have recognized. Do you remember the man who made grenades? And he was at the end with the cranes, the bulldozers knocking down the hideout. That man is named Jackie Shrove. Father.
No way.
Dad.
No way.
Of the famous Tiger Shroff, star of Baki 1, Baki 2, and Baki 3. And co-star of War. How did we not recognize him? While editing the movie, I looked at him a few times. I'm like, he kind of looks familiar. I've seen him somewhere before. And obviously he's huge. And a quick Google search showed
lo and behold,
Jackie Shrove,
the father of one of our favorite stars.
Yep. And it's the theme of father and son comes up a lot in this movie. It's very much about family, I'd say.
I would say the first half of the film, we were kind of like, oh, where's this going? Where's this leading? Because it was half comedy, half drama to an extent. until it started really picking up in the second half, and where it's just like, oh man, guns out blazing kind of thing.
We can't talk about pacing without talking about the tone and the genre changes in this movie.
Yeah,
You're correct in the beginning, and you'll see our reaction. We were kind of just going like, what's this about?
Yeah.
But yeah, the movie just started off violent. Like the gangsters, the villain killing someone with acid. And then it changes to this wholesome family like TV show.
Yeah.
And then it changes back to like, let's torture the police, like beating up a bad guy.
Yeah.
It is almost like it's so sudden and so abrupt.
It really keeps you guessing, right? What's gonna be happening? Because you're like, when is this? Well, when's shit gonna hit the fan, right?
Yeah, hit the fan.
Yeah.
My reaction was almost like a whiplash reaction. There is a beheading, and I had a whiplash reaction. Like I was like, "What the?" Came out of nowhere. Yep. So violent.
It's like, this is a serious film, right?
So
it's gonna be a serious film.
So serious. And look, some critics might complain about the pacing, going, "It's not consistent. It's the genre keeps changing. The movie doesn't know what tone it wants to take."
I'd say it's like, instead of being the Jawan Pathan edge of your seat, adrenaline pumping kind of action, this is like, it's more like a thriller horror where it's like, oh, I'm anticipating the next thing.
Okay.
It's like, I'm just waiting for something to happen rather than getting struck all the time. It's like, when's the next thing gonna happen? Man, I can't wait for the next thing. Like, it's coming, kind of thing.
It's coming. Yeah, you're right. You're 100% correct. I don't think this movie can be called an action comedy, personally. Like, if someone asks, hey, I'm going to watch JAILER, but what kind of movie is it? I know technically, officially, it's an action comedy, but you cannot contain this movie to one genre.
No.
It's very entertaining. It is pure entertainment throughout, but it's very hard to define genre-wise.
One thing I remember reading about, like, there was this musician who said, I would play very slowly before I go to a quick segment, or very quick before a slow segment, and it accentuates the next part, right? It makes it feel like slower or faster than it actually is. I feel like that kind of concept applies to here as well. It's like, we've got the comedy, then all of a sudden, a beheading.
Yes.
It just hits so much harder, right? Than if it was pure action throughout the first half, and then the beheading, it's like, oh yeah, he just beheaded the dude. Whereas it was plain comedy, and then bam, beheading is like, oh shit. It's like a smack back to reality.
It might sound messy from how we just described it, but I don't think it was. It is a movie about family.
It is a movie about family. At its heart, it's a movie
about
how to keep your family together.
Rajinikanth, the character, I thought his character was fascinating in this movie. He is a man of many faces. You're right, he transforms, and we see the transformation from this innocent grandpa helping his family with groceries or whatever, to this unpredictable, fearless, and very dangerous man. Yes, it's sudden, but you see the hints, like you see in his eye. I don't know how you describe it. When you're watching the movie, you see his eye acting, and you know he changed. Something about him changed.
Eyes don't lie, man.
You know that scene where he reveals to his wife and his daughter-in-law, his family, about everything? It's like he stopped trying. He stopped putting on that gentle persona. There's nothing to lose. The bad guys are knocking on our doors. I'm just going to tell you what's happening, and I'm going to do it efficiently.
And the thing, you kept wondering, is this his true self? Or was it just, as you said, another one of his personality?
Exactly.
And his family was just as confused.
Just as confused as we were, yeah.
They're like sitting at the dining table, also just an audience like we are, watching the film.
Exactly. And then it's revealed that the son is alive. And I thought, okay, there's the plot twist. And then there's a second plot twist, where not only is the son is alive, but he is in cahoots with the bad guy. And he is a bad guy.
Despite being raised with the values of honesty and
and
all that
truth.
jazz.
Yeah. In that scene, this stays with me. It's a very powerful scene. Rajinikanth sees it happen and he cracks and just laughs like a madman. You know, he's at his lowest point. He's just sitting on a couch and instead of crying, instead of breaking down crying in disbelief, he just starts laughing. And he's a jailer. As we learn in the film, he is a jailer, an ex-jailer. And he spent his life taming rowdy criminals, making them bend to his will, right? But in the end, he couldn't even get his son to do the right thing. It's crazy.
Speaking of what did you think of him as the villain?
I liked him.
Yeah.
I thought he was a very fun character.
Now, I'd have to say Varman is a villain that I haven't seen in a while, right? Aesthetically, personality-wise, or maybe personality-wise, but aesthetically is quite different, don't you think?
Yes.
He gives off that very, like, primitive vibe to him.
He is very down-to-earth, very raw.
Raw, that's a good way of putting
He's
it.
very raw. He is so extreme and violent that he makes for a good villain that opposes Rajinikanth. Because Rajinikanth, again, ex-jailer, is tamed to so many bad guys. They work for him.
Yep.
You can't tame this guy because he's wild. Though he tried to reason with him multiple times, like going, let's end this, you know, let's bygones be bygones, we've killed people, let's stop this. And he goes, no, I want what I want.
But, you know, his wild nature, right, is pretty much counteracted by Rajinikanth's wild nature. Like, once you see the flashback of his jailer times, right, you're like, this guy will fight fire with fire.
He makes his goons dance for him, you know, but at the same time, his goons respect the hell out of him. This character can be humiliated, and he is humiliated, yet still stay threatening and dangerous. It doesn't stop him.
Yeah.
He will somehow...
He just goes harder the other way.
He goes harder the other way. He regains the upper hand against the powerful character that is Rajinikanth. It allows Rajinikanth to be equally as violent, and it almost like justifies it, right?
Like, imagine if like Varman was really, really mild, and then you got Rajinikanth just going around beheading people.
So yeah, I mentioned the henchman. You remember our favorite goon, our favorite henchman?
We thought he was going to be so cool, bro. We thought he was going to be like the second in charge, this, you know, the second last boss of the fight.
He has such a small role, an almost insignificant role, but we remember him because he left an impact on us.
Because he subverted, he subverted our expectations.
But do you remember how he left the movie?
He killed himself.
He killed
right?
himself. Yeah. So
Out of honor.
Out
right?
of-
So it's like,
respect for Varman.
yeah.
How do I feel about this guy? You know, he's introduced as a badass sunglass wearing, scar having henchman who gets knocked out in one hit, who's a clown, who's dumb. And then later on, when they realize they've been tricked, the henchman, instead of fighting back like the other goon did, puts his sunglasses on, takes his life. I can't believe such a small role left such an impact. Where the movie was a bit of...
Falls a bit short.
falls a bit short
Yeah.
is with the family characters. The wife, the daughter-in-law, the son and the grandchild. The tragedy after they thought the son had died. There was a bit of a sad montage. And they sort of disappeared from there. But the only times they didn't have significant dialogue. I don't think the son's wife ever really said anything significant.
I feel like just the aftermath of everything, right?
Yeah.
Showing the aftermath of it and the effects on the family, it could have just fleshed out everyone's roles a little bit more.
Action scenes, unbelievable action scenes, just crazy.
Very different style to what we saw in Joan Pathan, but yeah, it was just how you described Varman, right? And even Rajinikanth, it's a lot more raw. It's brutal.
Brutal.
Yeah, brutal and raw. Like, there's nothing really flashy about it, other than, you know, the stylized slow-mo and the effects and things like that. But his style is nothing acrobatic like Tiger Shroff or anything like that. It's just raw power.
The action was very exciting. What you'd expect from these sort of movies. somewhat grounded in reality, yet not. I'd say.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, I'd say in the beginning, grounded in reality, using swords, slashing, hacking, blood splattering, shooting as well. And then Rajinikanth at the end just becomes very overpowered, dual wielding. Knife in the gun, haven't seen that before. Knife coming out of where the handle is. Pretty crazy. He also flicked the gun from one hand to another. I think that's a Rajinikanth like iconic thing. He can throw things from one hand to the other really like cool, and it like zooms in on his face afterwards. And same with the cigar in his mouth. He can flick it from one side to the other really cool. I think that's like his signature action. Comedy, deadpan. Is that how you describe it? Dark.
I guess so. Yeah, like not really my style of comedy, to be honest. So it made the first half of the movie a little bit underwhelming for me. But because of, as we said, because of the way it was, deadpan, it made the next scenes a lot more impactful. So everything played a role. Everything was intentional and played a role.
There were comedians in this. There was that taxi driver. He was obviously a comedian of some sort. You can definitely tell. The visual comedy and the gags worked for me. The example being just 4 really buff dudes being snipers. Like they're just introduced in a gym, and instead of just being like, oh, they're your brawler bodyguards. No, they're snipers. They're really good at sniping. Don't know why that's related to being at the gym, but it is. And then the other gag straight afterwards is, are they going to look like that? And then just you see them all squished into a little car wearing wigs.
That was funny. That was good.
Yeah, stuff like that worked really well for me. But yeah, I'm sure if we had watched this in the cinemas, people would be just laughing at those sort of things.
And you know, watching it in the cinema just gives off a very different vibe. Like, I feel like this is one of those films where if you and I had watched it in the theaters, we would have benefited from that experience.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Let's be honest, like we would have benefited from any experience in the theaters watching one of these films. Right?
In JAILER, the song lyrics were really telling. Like they'll say things, you know, when we're watching the scene and you'll see the song lyrics come up and they just describe what's going on. I love that. Like it's
like another way of storytelling, right?
Yeah.
Just adds another dimension to the storytelling. It's like having commentary, right? Without it being just straight up commentary or narration. Do it through song and it adds a lot more meaning to it.
Again, it emphasizes.
Definitely adds a lot more meaning to it.
And not just to the movie itself, but it also tells you how Rajinikanth is leading the way. At his age, he's still leading the way for young actors, for filmmakers. You know, all those criminals that follow him, it's almost like he's saying, follow me. You know, I'm your leader. I'm setting the pathway. I'm still doing my thing. Despite being at my age.
Time to become criminals so that we can find a jailer like him.
We ended the movie feeling sad. And the song at the end, the background music, really made that scene heavier. It was called Feel of JAILER.
How did you feel, man? How did you feel? Heavy?
It's just heavy.
Distraught.
Yeah, you're so used to the triumph, the trumpets, the strong emotions of the song. Then suddenly it's this slow, dark, just brooding, you know, it just hits you even harder, man. The contrast. So in summary, fun-filled. I'd say this was very fun. It was very entertaining. It just had a dark twist and a sad ending.
Well, I think the theme of this film, right, is just the contrast of things. You could write a whole essay about how things contrast each other. All the elements in this, you know, the plot, the characters, the music, you know, like the trumpets versus the heavy at the end. Everything's just in contrast to another, which heightens the impact of each and every scene.
And isn't that just life, man? Life, you could be living the good life and then it just changes just like that and your life falls apart.
Yeah.
And that public face that you put on just crumbles, man. Like, just you can only take so much before you crack and start laughing. I'd relate, bro.
And then go very badass.
Feel of JAILER, feel of Darren, man. Feel of Darren.
I don't want to hear that thing. I don't want to hear that song.
It's yeah. If someone can commission that, I'll commission someone. Theme of Darren, please. And then the
Feel of Darren.
theme of feel. Oh, sorry, yeah. Feel of Darren. Feel of Dean and Darren is should be happier, but feel of Darren is different. Can we have? We need to do that one day. You know how there's theme of Kabil and theme of Kali. We need that theme of Dean and theme of Darren.
I want the Hero Panty flute song. Right?
Oh, can you hum it? Do you remember it? Something like that. Yeah, there we are. Yeah.
Ending thoughts. I would recommend. I'll definitely recommend it. It's definitely an entertaining film, as you said, but it's a heavier one. And heavier ones, you need to be in the right mindset and the right mood to watch it. It's not like, oh, it's Saturday night, let's get some popcorn and we'll watch Pathan or Jawan, right? I wouldn't say Saturday night. You know what? Long day of work. Let's watch JAILER. It's not quite the same thing.
I see what you mean.
So I feel like it's more of a midweek kind of film. Yeah, because the emotions run high.
Yeah,
let's say.
I like my dark movies. I like a tinge of sadness in this sort of things from time. But I agree. It was a Sunday morning. I wasn't ready to feel of JAILER, and yeah, it is something to know that it is a sadder, darker, heavier film, despite its comedy and despite its great action scenes. But if you're a fan of the superstar, you are in for a treat. You will love this movie because he just shines. This is his movie for sure, 100%.
Would definitely recommend regardless. All in all, JAILER, great film. Rajinikanth, wonderful as per usual, let's be honest. It was decorated by a very well-rounded cast.
Good performance.
Plenty of
by everyone.
Good performance by everyone. And well fleshed out villains and nice plot and twist at the end. Left us feeling real heavy, I'll tell you that.
Definitely remember the movie. So thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you liked this review.
Let us know how you feel.
Let us know how you feel about this movie. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed watching it, and we'll see you in the next one.
We'll see you soon.